Hello and welcome to Career Prep. My name is Matt Studebaker. I am a lecturer at the Woodbury School of Business at Utah Valley University. And today we are going to be talking about goals. And real quick, before I get started, please make sure to like and subscribe to the channel. That way you get all the videos as well as any new videos that I update, which I do update weekly. With that being said, let's dive right into goal setting. Goal setting is important in regards to career preparation because it aids you in helping to orient yourself on just like a compass would towards the direction you want to go. And it helps to give you a time frame of when that's achievable and how you can achieve it. Without it, this quotation definitely sums it up. Okay, a goal without a plan is just a wish. Okay, and so there's golden rules of goal setting, and there's 5 of them. Okay, having SMART goals, but SMART goals most people know about, but the other parts where they don't think about it are motivating goals, visual or written goals, action plans attached to your goals, and then sticking with your goal. Okay, the first one most people are familiar with is an acronym for SMART goals. It's a specific, measurable, achievable, or attainable, relevant, time-bound, time-specific. Okay, they all can work, the different variations of this. I'm not going to spend too much time with this because most of you are familiar with these. Specific, you just need to make sure that it's not too broad or vague. Okay, measurable is arguably the most important. How do you know if you even achieved? Okay, that depends on how well you wrote down measurable components to your goals. Achievable, you do have to achieve it, but we can lower the bar and hit it every time, but that doesn't mean that it's going to push you. Okay, and I usually will encourage people to have stretch goals in mind when they are setting goals. And then relevant, obviously has to be relevant to a higher purpose. And then time-bound, having a specific date and time in mind, okay? And so if we were to look at like a graduation goal, for example, as a goal setting, so graduating from UVU with a business degree is pretty specific. These are the components that I would have if I wanted to make it measurable, having a 3.5 GPA while taking at least 15 credits per semester. Working as part-time and meeting with my advisors on a weekly basis, so that way I'm paying for some of my schooling and then being help-oriented with advisors. Relevant, obviously, if I want to be a marketing manager, I would need to have a bachelor's degree, and then I would have a specific date for when I would graduate. Hey, so that's all fine and good, but like, if you don't have a strong motivation for why you're doing what you're doing, you are not going to succeed in pushing through. Okay, what's getting you out of the bed every day when you don't feel good, when you're tired, when you're sick? Okay, and you're going out and continuing to push for your goals. Okay, this is what we call motivation, and you need to have motivations, just like Simon Sinek in the book Start With Why. Okay, you need to have your why. Why are you even doing what you're doing? Okay, are you doing it for your family? Okay, are you doing it to further an important career? Are you doing it for some freaking respect, right? Or are you doing it to challenge yourself? Or maybe just it's a sense of accomplishment. Okay, there are bad motivations too. Okay, maybe you're instead of running to the dream, you're running away from the nightmare. Okay, like you're struggling with money. Okay, or you have debt, or like you're frustrated that you can't give your family the things you want to give them. Okay, these can be motivations too. It doesn't mean that they're bad. It's just the bad motivations are motivating you to do something about it. I also like to have visual or written goals. These are important. If you were to look at a study by Harvard that they did back in the 60s and 70s, there's been many since then. And they tracked a lot of their students. And what they found is that a majority don't have written goals. About 83% of the students that they followed didn't. And those that did, so the upper 17%, made 5 times more over their lifetime than those who didn't. That should be compelling for you to write down your goals and make them visible. Okay, that's great if you can write them down and then hide them in a book and never see them again. But it's more important that you can see these. Okay, you can see them on dream boards. I have people put up pictures, or they put up their goals specifically written out on dream boards. Those are great. Okay, you can see them a lot. You can put pictures or quote or other motivating imagery around your home. I would cover your home. Okay, be weird like that. Okay, some people are like, that's weird. I'm like, well, weird people tend to be successful people because they do things that we think are weird, but are usually found among successful people. And I would specifically hang them up or put them in high traffic areas like the fridge or the mirrors in your bathrooms, right? Or the door to the garage. Okay, places you're going to see them all the time. So then as you're going about, you're seeing your goals in front of you all the time, and you're seeing why you're doing what you're doing. Okay, have a to-do list. More importantly, I would probably call it a success list, because not all things on a to-do list are created equally or have equal value. And so you definitely want to be doing those things that are more important first. Whiteboards are great because you can check off and keep an active roll of your consistent efforts to accomplish your goals. Your smartphones, there's tons of apps that can keep you oriented, okay, that can track, like habit tracker apps that will alert you to complete your goals or that you haven't done them and show you trends. Even having a mission statement. Some people think this is a little corny. My family has a mission statement, and on it has our values, it has our mission, has our vision, and it has our goals. And then we read it occasionally, at least once a week, so that way we can know what we're shooting for. Action plans. Okay. The problem with this, when you look at this 5-10 years, people can't think 5-10 years down the road. People, it's overwhelming to them. Okay. They're just like, oh my gosh, I'm trying to worry about like tomorrow or getting through today. And so we're really, as a society right now, as a culture in America at least, that we struggle with long-term thinking. And so our thought process is not in line with that. So what we need to do is have short-term goals that break this up. The problem with short-term goals is they're not narrow enough still. People still don't know how to focus a year down the road, let alone 4, okay? And so they still aren't short enough. So what we need to do is have action steps. These can be daily, weekly, monthly goals that break it up and just make them more achievable. And they're all going towards the primary goal here. So let's say that our 5 to 10 year plan is to become a marketing manager, okay? So how do we get there? Well, we need to set some smaller 1 to 4 years, like short-term goals. So I need to get a bachelor's degree in marketing, okay? But I need even shorter goals than that because that's going to take 4 years, okay? Well, I'm going to map out my schedule so I can graduate by this date, okay? And so then I'm going to participate in 2 internships related to the industry, okay, to help better prepare me for the field of marketing. I'm going to graduate with a respectable 3.5, okay? So now that I've accomplished that, or maybe as I'm working towards that, I want to become an industry expert, okay? And that's going to take maybe a year, maybe a few years, okay? So as a way to engage and become more of an industry expert, I'm going to network with experts and professionals and just gain mentorship or just gain perspective there. I'm going to get hired into a company within the industry, so I'm getting actual working practice in marketing. And maybe I'm going to learn some software along the way, like SQL or MS Access, SAP, HTML. And then finally, I'll look at getting an MBA, right? Because MBA, see if it's even needed, and if it is, maybe at that company they don't need it, but maybe that company does need it to move ahead. So then, if it is needed, then you'll see, okay, I'm going to get a master's. And you research schools that allow you to work full time because going into debt sucks, and so don't do it. If you can work through full time, great. And sometimes when you work full time, your work will pay for it, or at least compensate part of it on it for you, and then you would just enroll. Okay, and then once you accomplish these action steps, you just set new ones. Okay, and you continually build towards accomplishing that goal. And then finally, and arguably the most important, is sticking to it. Okay, this is a fantastic book. It's probably one of the best self-help books ever written. It's called The Compound Effect by Darren Hardy, who is a publisher for Success Magazine. Okay, and in it, he talks about 3 things: the compound effect in action, being diligent and consistent, and your choices determine your destiny. Okay, and really, like, the thought process of this book is to kind of orient your mind. And this is why I tell people, like, if you're doing something, and if it doesn't matter 5 years down the road, is it worth continuing to do? It doesn't mean you have to stop doing what you love, right? Maybe you like to, play games with your family, or maybe play the sport, but just be observant to, is this getting in the way of your goals down the road? And if it is, then it needs to go, okay? And it's kind of time to grow up, I guess is a good way of saying it. So compound effect in action. The compound effect is the principle of reaping huge rewards from a series of small, smart choices. And the compound effect formula he puts in is small, smart choices plus consistency plus time equals radical difference. And there's 2 examples that personify this: the penny and the 3 friends, okay? Now, with the penny, like, would you rather have $1 million a day or a penny doubled every day for 30 days, okay? If you haven't heard this before, this would be new. Most of you probably have. So if I offered you one of these, people probably would suspect that something's up, but still $1 million is $1 million. So day 1, you get $1 million. Day 1, if you chose a penny, you got a penny, okay? You're probably crying that night because you're like, what did I just do? Day 5, 1 million, hasn't moved, won't move for the whole experiment. Now you've made 16 cents after 5 days. $5 after 10, a third of the month is gone. You've made $5, and you are probably questioning why you've made that decision. By day 15, only $163. Day 20, now you're up to $5,000. Okay. Day 25, $167,000. Okay. By day 30, you have made $5.36 million. Okay. And so which is a substantial amount of money. Obviously, you've made 5 times more than if you'd taken that $1 million. Let's just take it one day further. If this was a 31-day month, well, you'd make $10.7 million. Okay. And this is compound interest in action, but the concept is still the same. And now some people will be like, well, like, I don't have money that can do that, or my penny can't double in value every day like that. Okay. Well, he gives another example that is far more relevant to what we experience, and he calls it the 3 friends. Okay. Friend number 1 eats 200 calories less a day. Again, small, smart choices. This is not radical. 200 calories is nothing. Okay. It's like half of a candy bar. All right. So it's really like a small change in the diet. Maybe they walk a few extra thousand steps. So that's maybe like 15 minutes of walking. All right. And then they read 10 pages from self-help books. And so friend number 2 does nothing. And then friend number 3 adds a beer to their diet, maybe watches a little bit more TV during their downtime, and likes making some high fatty foods at home. So let's look at what happens over time. So nothing's really going to start happening until about 24 months, 25 months. And then we're going to see some radical change really quickly between these 3 friends. So friend 1 is slim and lost over 33 pounds. Okay. Their marriage is thriving, partially because they're reading self-help books to improve their marriage, but also their self-image is probably better about themselves because they're better in shape. And so they're probably having a better sexual life as a result of it. Okay. And then they're thriving at work because of the self-help books are showing that improvement. But again, also self-image will improve that as well. Friend number 2, nothing's changed, except maybe they're a little bit more bitter because nothing has changed between their marriage, their physical appearance, or their work life. Friend number 3 is overweight. They have gained 33 pounds. Their marriage is on the edge because they have a poor self-image of themselves and they're overweight. Okay. And then there's also their personal issues are then because if their marriage is struggling, it's going to translate into their work environment, which will usually result in poor work performance. Okay. And people are like, well, how can you determine that? Well, if you were to take 31 months and then you take 940 days, and I'm just using the calorie for about 125 calories a day for this calculation, rather than the 200, it'd be about 33 pounds over that time if you were to divide out 117,500 calories lost or gained, which is where you would get these weight gains. So it would actually be more weight lost or more weight gained between the 3 friends. And this has happened. Okay. I was one of those people, I changed jobs and I was in a very active job working as a warehouse manager, and I went to a desk job and I still ate the same and I didn't see any difference for about 2 years. And then at that end of that 2 years, I gained 30 pounds very fast within a matter of months. And so it took a kind of complete halt in the brakes to turn it around, and then start making those small decisions each day. I'm like, I'm just not going to eat after 8 o'clock. Or I'm going to replace one meal a day that doesn't have any carbs in it. And I've lost 50 pounds since then. Okay. So it's just a matter of this does happen. You just got to make sure that you're making those small, smart decisions. Okay. He also talks about being diligent and consistent. Okay. The most challenging aspect of the compound effect is that we have to keep working for a while consistently and efficiently before we see the payoff. I once heard John Maxwell, who writes a lot of books, a leadership coach, once say that consider diligence and consistency as the act of walking uphill every day. It's never going to be easy as walking downhill, but it can get easier the more you do it because you'll develop the muscle and the stamina to do that. Okay, think about what excuses are currently holding on to and aren't contributing to any growth or success. Everybody has excuses. Okay, I have them. And then commit to overcoming them through hard work and personal development. Think about what small steps you can start taking every day to shift your life in a better direction, as well as what are some small things you can stop doing now that are hindering your success. And then finally, sticking to it. Okay. Number 3, your choices determine your destiny. Choices are the root of every one of your results. Each choice starts a behavior that over time becomes a habit. Most of us are sleepwalking through our decisions. We're just on autopilot. Okay. It's not that we're willfully making those bad decisions. We just aren't knowing we're doing it. So just become more conscious of your decision making. Keep a journal, keep a gratitude journal, just like you would keep a spending journal, keep a gratitude journal. Just analyze your thought processes and see what you're doing. Okay. With that being said, that is it for this video. And so I appreciate all of you and spending that time with me, and we will talk to